What this tutorial is going to look at is the idea of a glossary. So glossaries are a way to build and maintain course-specific terminologies and meanings. There is a main glossary that only the instructor can edit, but you can create secondary glossaries to allow students to comment, enter new terms, and to create auto-linking, which is something we'll talk about more when we get to it, but auto-linking is kind of neat. What it is if that word appears anywhere in the course, say you have it appear because you've typed it into a text page, or you've typed it into a form, or students typed it into a form, or it's typed into a blog. If the word appears anywhere in the course, it can automatically link back to the glossary you've created for it, and the terminology and the definition. So it's really a way to get students to define or articulate definitions or ideas they have pertaining to particular words or phrases that can be course specific. Okay, so how do we add that? Well, you need to make sure that you turn editing on, and you'll see here in this course it's an empty course, but so once editing is on, you're going to come down to add an activity. Okay, drop that menu down and you'll find the term glossary. Okay, now once you're in, one of the things you're going to have to do is, and this name here, this isn't a term in the glossary, this is the name of the glossary. So this is what's going to appear in that initial course interface. So if you have it stipulated in your syllabus to add entries to a particular glossary, you want to make sure that you match up the titles. Okay, all right. And then you need to give it some type of description. Okay, so this box here gets a description, this box here gets the title, and then you'll see there's quite a bit, there's quite a few choices. So we're kind of going to look at each one of those. Entries shown per page, so that's how many terms and their definitions do you want to appear on a single page, to where, you know, if it becomes a very robust glossary, you could get multiple pages out of it, particularly if you have a large class of students. So that's something to think about. I think 10's a fair number, so we're just going to leave it. Is this glossary global? What that will mean, you want to leave this unchecked essentially, because by making it global is that it can link between classes. Okay, now it wouldn't work unless the administrator has gone in and allowed that setting on an administrative level, which it's not, so you don't need to worry about it, but that's what that would do. For glossary type, there are two types. One is the main glossary, okay? And really what the main glossary is that only the instructor can edit a main glossary. Okay, the other option is a secondary glossary. Now here's the nice thing about it. A secondary glossary is that students and any course user, so yourself and students, could edit and develop content. Okay. Now, one of the things that you can do is that you can export a term from the secondary glossary to a main glossary. So, say you get a definition or a term that you don't want students to alter, and you want it to go into the main glossary, and you want students to be able to contribute, but then you want this final product that you know has been reviewed and is safe to share that information. So you can always move items from secondary to a main glossary, and students can only edit and add in secondary roles. Okay. Duplicate entries allowed. This is up to you. Are you going to allow the same word in there twice? You know, as in I give the definition of ball and you give the definition of ball, but we have separate definitions. Okay. Allow comments on entries. Again, that's up to you, whether or not you want students to provide feedback, but keep in mind, if it's a main glossary, you wouldn't be able to do that. Okay. Allow print view. This is nice. If you put together a comprehensive glossary that then maybe turns into test terms or exam terminology, or you know, something they have to use in an essay or something along those lines, and you want to allow students to have a printer-friendly version of it, you'd click yes for that. Automatically link glossary entries. This goes back to what I kind of said in the introduction. If you have this to yes, That means anywhere a term, let's say the term is ball, anywhere the term ball appears within the course, as it's written into the entry, it will link so that a student would be able to click on it. It would take them to the glossary and they'd be able to see that definition. Okay? All right? Approved by default. This is a safety feature, okay, kind of for instructors. If the glossary is secondary and you allow students to add entries, you can allow entries to be automatically approved and added to the glossary, or you can require your approval before other students are able to see them. Okay, so if you have it secondary and you want to make sure that you screen everything before it gets put out there, you would set this to no. Okay, and then you would have to go in and approve the entry of a student prior to being published for other students to see. Now this area here, you'll see that there's multiple options. Okay, the display format option. Okay, kind of going to briefly go over each one of them, and it really becomes a matter of preference on how you would like to handle it. The simple dictionary style, okay, which is kind of the one that you first see, this one right here. This one looks like a conventional dictionary, okay, with separate entries. No authors are displayed, and attachments are shown as links. Okay, continuous without author shows the entries one after another without any kind of separation between them, with the exception of the little edit icon, okay, because you can always go back and edit an entry. And so it just kind of, there's no author's names listed or anything along that. It's word definition, just one after another. Okay. Encyclopedia. This is kind of similar to full with author, which we'll get to next, but it allows attached images are shown in the line. So if you put a picture in there, the picture will be shown there. You won't have to click on a link to see it. It'll be visible right away. Okay. So let's do full with author. So this kind of gives you a forum-like display if you're used to using forms in Moodle, and it shows the author's data, which would also give the profile picture, and attachments are shown as links. Let's do full without author. This is again a forum-like display that does not show the author's data. Okay, so the author's information is not there, but attachments again are shown as links. Entry list. This lists the concepts as links. Okay, it's just kind of this vertical list of links. Okay, so you have the term, you have to click on it, and the definition appears. Okay. The FAQ, frequently asked questions. This is kind of useful for displaying list of frequently asked questions. It automatically appends the words question and answer and the concept and definition respectively. So if you do an FAQ and you put the question is, what is a ball? Well, it's going to tell you question, what is the ball, answer, and then there's your definition. Okay, so it kind of separates the items in that manner. Okay, so again, this is completely up to you, how you would like to do it. Let's just choose this setting. But I would encourage you to explore with it and see which ones you like best. Next one, show special link. Okay, this allows users when they browse the glossary to select the first character of a word from a list. This will also display special characters, meaning so that if you put an @ symbol in there or a pound symbol in a meaning, it'll allow those to appear. Okay. Show alphabet. This is kind of neat. This will display the alphabet for easier browsing kind of across the top. So you'll see A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so on. So someone could go and click on B, and then all the words or terms that begin with B would appear. So that's a nice idea. The show all link will allow the students to see all the glossary entries all at once. Okay, so that gives them the option to be able to do that. Okay, edit always. This will always make an entry something that can be revised or edited. Okay, so keep that in mind if you're having students use it, whether or not you want that. All right, I realize there's quite a few there, so I always encourage you to tinker and play with those, and keep in mind when you're in Moodle, if you click on the little circle with the question mark, that gives you a pop-up window. That pop-up window gives you an explanation or a little bit of a definition of what that function is, okay, as you see here. Alright, so that's always an option as well. So if we go down, now one of the things you can do is you can grade glossary entries, okay? It'll allow you to either you, the instructor, or students to rate them. It would be up to you, and you can determine that, okay? So for instance, if I check this box, use ratings, all right, notice now users appears, and you have two options, only teacher or everyone, okay? So it depends on if you want peer review or if you just want yourself to be able to grade it. Obviously, here's your scale, okay? If you check this box, restrict rating entries with dates in this range, your dates will open up, and this is, you're controlling, say you're allowing students to rate, but you only want them to rate between Thursday and Sunday, because to give people time to make their post and make edits, and so that everything in by Thursday has to be final. Well, you click that, you set that date and the range from when it begins to when it ends, okay? And again, that's up to you. The rest of this, we would just save and return to course. And you'll see now, there's the little glossary icon, and there's the title of our glossary, and so now we have the glossary set up. So in the next tutorial, I'll show you how to add entries and what that looks like.